These are the pictures from Kim Porter's house. Everybody saw how the dude was walking outside of Kim Porter's driveway. Everybody in the courtroom, they gasped. They were shocked at the things that they saw. They saw the dude with the black hood on, with the black mask on, leaving outside of Kim Porter's house. He walked right through her driveway and hopped right in the car. This is a sad situation. I would like to send my condolences, and I would like to say R.I.P. Kim Porter. Hit the like button if you feel that Diddy did something to Kim Porter when he went inside of that house and put something in her drink. Diddy's son was shocked when he heard Cassie say that she got the footage on her phone. If they need her to bring any MP3s or any hard drives to the court, she will, just to plead her case so she could get justice from all the stuff he put her through all these years. If he was doing this to Cassie, it makes it believable that he did this to Kim Porter and all them other women and them people. I want y'all to know this is a sad situation, but we see this happen time after time. Diddy, he put himself in this situation. They gonna get Diddy the max. The feds not playing no games. The feds got a 99% conviction rate. I want y'all to drop down in the comment section that Diddy set up Kim Porter and Tupac. Suge Knight, he may have to take the stand and let them know exactly what happened. Keefe D, he got that money. He gave that money to Orlando Brown. And next thing you know, Orlando Brown did that to Tupac. Tupac could still be here with us right now if they didn't get down on him. It was a lot of people at them parties that Diddy used to be having. Diddy, he had cameras in the wall. Diddy, he knew everybody that was coming in. He had them on the list, a guest list. The Fed said that everybody who was outside by the swimming pool, right there by that swing, right there in Diddy's backyard by that 50-foot bed, he said that the people who was out there, it was a select handful people who went inside the mansion after hours. Now, we know for a fact that the footage they got from inside of that room, Diddy, he did some of the horrendousest things to these people. And these people have family. These people got kids that care about them. A lot of people don't know, but Diddy, he tried to put out information about these people when these people are the same ones that he threatened to come to the party. Now he's trying to blackmail them. I want y'all to know, it all bit Diddy in the ass at the end of the day. Diddy thought that he was going to get away with this. No, Lil Rod told them that he saw how Diddy made Cassie do that to all them workers. A lot of people saw what happened with Kid Cudi. We saw what happened with Tupac. We saw what happened with Biggie. J-Lo was the main one that said that Kid Cudi could have avoided everything. J-Lo said that she was trying to get away from Diddy from the beginning, before this even came a thought that the feds was going to run in and do this to Diddy. This been happening for over 20 years. Nobody came forward until them NDAs expired. Diddy, he was out of luck because a lot of people that he trusted, they turned on him. A lot of people knew that they didn't want their hands in that dirt. It's blood on that money that Diddy was getting. And they said that he even set up a couple of his own artists. Hit the like button if you think that Diddy set up his own artists, because Young Miami, she was doing her little drug running. As soon as Young Miami hopped out that black Sprinter truck, she walked inside the building with her security. She looked to the side at everybody who was standing on the sideline behind the barricades, and then turned her head back forward and started walking inside the court building. Now, in the federal court, they cannot have cameras in there, but we're giving y'all an update in real time. I want everybody to know this is a sad situation, but Diddy knew it was coming for him. Just imagine the evidence and the footage that we're gonna see of the people in the workers that Diddy had to go in there and do this to Cassie. Now, Cassie, she's pregnant right now. RIP to everybody who was lost behind this, because Cassie had to go through what she had to go through with Diddy and his parties. And it's so sad that Cassie had to sit there for all them years and watch how Diddy set up all them people to get RIP Tupac, RIP Kim Porter. Jaguar Wright said that she releasing everything. And she came to court, she was looking at everybody who was coming in like, you was there at that party, you was there. They put their head right down. Gene Deal was the one who exposed everything at the beginning. They didn't believe him. Jaguar Wright, she kept telling them, Diddy a monster, Diddy a monster. Next thing you know, it ended up coming out that he did that to Cassie. He tried to hurry up and pay her off. And from what the court transcripts are stating, as soon as he paid her off, it's something in the clause that states that she still could come to court and press criminal charges on him. If she didn't want him locked up, she would not be standing there in that courtroom. She got the money, so regardless of how he feel about it, how she looked at it, the money was just for the pain and suffering. The feds ain't playing no games. I want y'all to drop down in the comment section, RIP Kim Porter, get well Cassie. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let me know if you think that J-Lo gonna come forth and let them know exactly what happened just to cover her own ass. The Fed said as soon as they went in the master bedroom, that's when they saw the cameras that was up in the corner. They had cameras inside of the picture frames on the wall. As soon as they went in the bathroom, that's when they saw everything. Diddy had so much stuff that wasn't even in the closet, that was just out in the open. He was freely just going in there, grabbing the stuff, putting it in the drink, going back in there, grabbing the stuff to tap people up. I want y'all to know this is a sad situation. Diddy, he bogus. Let me know if y'all think that Diddy bogus for what he did to these people down in the comment section. Hit the like button if you feel that Diddy, he's gonna get the max. Rick Ross, he was that too. French Montana, DJ Khaled, and a couple more other people who Cassie mentioned. She got the footage in her phone. The feds not finna show no remorse. The same way that Diddy did them people, it's the same way the feds finna do him. At the end of the day, Diddy, he brought this upon himself. You have to watch the people you keep around you. He had everybody at his parties, even pastors. He had lawyers, all type of stuff. And I want y'all to know, Kim Porter kept telling him, you need to get out before it's too late. Diddy didn't care. All that money that Diddy had, he thought that he can just pay his way out of everything. All the contacts that he had, all the connections that he had, he thought that these people would be right there in his corner. Do you know the stuff that he did? J-Lo don't want to get caught up in this, but J-Lo is a part of it. Young Miami is a part of it. She was running the drugs on the private jets. A lot of people felt that the drug mule, he said Young Miami was orchestrating everything. She was scratching off all the shipments on the list. Did he bogus for making them people do that, but a lot of people felt that Young Miami, she been trying to get out of this for a long time. Everybody knew Young Miami was at them parties. A lot of movie stars was at that party, but Diddy, he kept their names a hush until he got caught. This goes to show you can't trust people, because a person will turn on you when all the heat get on them. Diddy in hot water right now, and the feds ain't playing no games. RIP to these people, man. I would like to say RIP Tupac, man, because Tupac, all he did was diss Diddy for the stuff that he was doing that people didn't believe. They didn't believe Tupac. Tupac been telling them for a long time how Diddy got down and how Diddy used to rock. Mike Tyson even said Diddy, he's not to be trusted. Diddy gave him $1 million to do that to Tupac. If Tupac would have never went to Las Vegas, this would have never happened to him. RIP Tupac. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Cassie lit. Once she came in and she stood on the bench, she talked to the people. She let the prosecutors know everything that she already memorized and went over, because she wanted to make sure she get everything right, because she want Diddy gone. Regardless of what's going on, Diddy thought that he had a fair chance with Cassie, but you should have never put this woman through this stuff for all these years. And now the DA is looking at the potential evidence that has been brought forth, stating that J-Lo was involved in what happened with Shine back in 2000. Everybody knew exactly what happened in the club. Diddy, he put the whole case on Shine when he was the one that snuck the gun in, and he did what he did once he got into it with somebody he felt that they disrespected him. This is why you can't go certain places. A lot of people put themselves in these predicaments, and a lot of people don't know that a lot of things come back on you regardless of how you feel about it, regardless of how much money you have. Now, the feds are looking at everything from a standpoint as if Diddy's family, they're there to support him, but Diddy didn't know that they was going to bring up what happened with Tupac and Kim Porter. I want y'all to let me know if you're a fan of Tupac down in the comment section. People felt that it went unnoticed, unheard of what happened with Tupac, but Keefe D was the one who received the money for the hit for Tupac. They said it was $1 million, and from the initial police report, they said that Tupac, he went out there with Suge Knight. Suge Knight was a victim too, because he got hit up as well in the car with Tupac. He was the one driving. I want y'all to know this is a sad situation. I want to send my condolences out to the families of these people who Diddy hurt. Diddy has a long list of people who he said was at the party, but the people who's on the list are people that he made come to the party. So the feds, the prosecutors, and the jury, they looking at it as if it wouldn't be no case without Cassie. She's the #1 witness. Then there's Little Rod. Little Rod was the second one who came out. He asked for a lawsuit. He just wanted to protect himself and make sure everything was right. Now, when Lil Rod stepped on the stand, Lil Rod, he spoke out and he let them know Diddy did X, Y, and Z, but Diddy showed a little mercy at certain times, but 99% of the times that he was around Diddy, Diddy had him with these workers, and he actually put Lil Rob in a messed up situation. You heard what happened with J-Lo. J-Lo was the one who was standing right there when everything went down with Tupac, when Diddy gave them the money for Tupac. I would like to send my condolences out to Tupac brother and Tupac mother. Everybody know for a fact Tupac could still be here with us right now. If Diddy would have never did what he did, Diddy got jealous and mad at Tupac because he made a diss song about him. Now this happened time after time. Everybody sat back and saw how the Fed said that Cassie spoke out and said what he did to Kid Cudi car. Now this is why he's been charged with arson. A lot of people felt that Diddy, he blew up the car because he felt that Kid Cudi was trying to talk to Cassie and he wanted to be in a relationship with her. But all of this stems from the long history of domestic violence that Cassie has been enduring all these years. She's put up with a lot from this man. She wanted to marry Diddy, but Diddy, he wanted to be with Kim Porter. As soon as the feds laid the manila envelope on the table right there where the judge was, they said that
It's Real Tone TV. We live on the infamous Skid Row in Los Angeles, California. Oh snap! Look at who we run into.
Up here, Real Tone. What you doing up in the land?
Melvin Farmer.
The city with no pity. What's going on?
Yes, sir. On today's episode of Real Tone TV, we have the founder of the A-Track Gangsta Crips community activist, Melvin Farmer.
Hey, Real Tone, it's some real money in the room.
Big U has been arrested on a Rolling 60s. They call it the Big U Enterprise, the Rolling 60s takedown.
He has maintained the image of an entertainment industry entrepreneur running a music label and of somebody who gives back to the community here in Los Angeles. The facts alleged in the complaint paint a very different picture. It is one of a murderer, a thief, a liar.
Melvin, I know you aren't just in the community, but you in the prisons as well.
Yes,
what did you make of the Big U Enterprise takedown?
As far as the takedown, well, it's not just Big U. Actually, I went to court when Big U went to his arraignment when the complaint was filed the other day with his parents and family. In fact, he had 40 family members there, and I noticed, it's no cameras there, so a lot of the false information you're hearing where they're giving you a premeditated update on what's coming, that's untrue. It don't go like that. There was no fingerprints, wasn't no fingernails, inconclusive. So what I seen was with Big U and other ones, what law enforcement does, particularly the alphabet. You're talking Homeland Security, FBI, DEA, ATF, all those major federal agencies, because of the social media and the platforms that the blacks use, whether it be rappers, actors, entertainers, or athletes. They bust them, which is called a splash. That means everybody get to see it, like they call Big U draws on the street. And it was a takedown draws, what's the name of the operation, and there go and both. So a lot of these rappers are being targeted now because of the depictions and the actions and the things that are saying where they blaming them on themselves. And in fact, We were in court, and everybody from Lil Durk, I went and seen him where we had to hook him up with his folks in Chicago, because he's out here on an island, in jail right there with Big U and all the rest of them. And we had to help them. So all of them, you're starting to see a pattern. They being targeted. You don't hear about gang members on the streets. You'll see them on No Jumper and all that, but that ain't what's popping out here in LA in reality. And in fact, murders have dropped 44% over the last few years, and in 2015 it had went to its lowest in 65 years. So what you're actually seeing on these internets where it's sound bites for likes, it's not actually what's going on in these streets across America, period.
Okay, well, with the Big U case, right, extortionist is what they're trying to call them. But you know, just like I know, just like I think everybody knows, like checking in is a big deal out here. And when you don't check in, sometimes, you know, you could be putting yourself at risk. And aside from, you know, the murder and everything else, I want to know.
Let's clarify with me.
Right.
I don't know nobody that check in. Like you here right now, you're a visitor.
Right.
So when you go on an island, mainland or whatever, you usually get with those that are the inhabitants there that know the land. So if that's what you want to call check-in, then here go a big difference. This is not an open carry state. That changes the game. You can't come here from Texas where you'll lose your license for carrying a gun illegal here. But we can come to your state, it don't make us no difference. So that's a big difference. When you come here, you check your guns in. So it's a different ball game where you can huff and puff with your picture, your gun, and take pictures. You can't do that here. It's the exact opposite. So unless you're carrying a gun and everybody else, you see the difference in the mentality here, you're at prey. Can't no police take no gun in no club. None of those places. No. You got to
Not even the police?
You got to put that in a safe deposit box. That's why a lot of these rappers, when they come to Los Angeles, you don't see no rappers from LA wearing jewelry and all that here. The game changes. This is a robbing capital of America, particularly banks. So that's one of the main problems is this is not an open carry state.
In other words, like checking in ain't just bad.
Let me put it like this. When I go to Atlanta, or when I go to Chicago, I go and holler at Fred Hampton, Curly Bibbs, or whoever that street that run that area. When I go to Atlanta, Georgia, any of them, I'm gonna tie in with the streets of those guys that know the trade, know the area. Now, if you wanna call that checking in, that's what it is. But I don't see that terminology when you just visiting. It ain't like you're a resident here.
Right.
So how are you checking in? When you go to Hawaii, you're gonna get the inhabitants to drive you around because they know the land. Same thing.
When you see that there are over 18 people on the case, and I saw another article saying like there was more indicted, like 40 something with Big U.
There are 19 on them. In fact, I talked to quite a few of them. You got some Latinos on there that don't even speak English and don't even know Big U.
There are people on Big U's case that don't know Big U.
Yeah, I got the video. I'll show it to you. I got the video where I talked to them. Got their phone numbers and everything. In fact, WAC 100, contrary, was talking to one of them that morning, and the young man had just had a 6-month-old baby, and we got the baby diapers because he's getting deported because he don't even have no papers. Because I asked her, why ain't nobody in your rest of your family here for something so important? She said they can't come. They're all illegal.
Right.
So it's 2 of them at the bottom row. The second one to the left, that's her husband. Then you're gonna see a Chinese down there on that bottom row with glasses on that say not in custody. That's the only one they know. Those 2 knew each other. They don't know Big U or none of that at all.
So you think what's being put on him is trumped up?
Well, let me put it like this in the court of law. How many times you seen people say I didn't do it and then find out years later they were telling the truth? So in other words, the best lie win in court. The truth doesn't always stand tall in court. So I ain't gonna say they trumped up, contrary to what people believe. Most guys that go to jail, they don't go in there talking about, I didn't do it. They're going there talking about, I didn't get a fair trial. But very few of them going in there talking about they didn't do it, because you only be lying to yourself, particularly when you're on a yard with everybody that got a life sentence. They ain't gonna want to hear that. They're gonna want to know what we can do to get each other out. We need to find a way out.
Hey, real tone, there's some real money in the room.
Hey, yo.
Harlem. You know what I mean? Big Boosie brought him to Harlem. I had to introduce him to Harlem's finest, man. If you know anything about Harlem, man, this the big homie. You know what I mean? Just so you know, this the biggest homie. You understand what I'm saying? So I had to bring him over here to come check Gangsta Lou and go get bigger, finer, more gangster, more thorough. You know what I mean? We go all the way back. Come over here and salute him, son. Let him see that. Let him see the salute. So you know, this is how the youngest respect the gangster, man. You know what I mean?
Gangsters be the general, you heard?
You know what I mean?
Real rights in the 80s, baby.
All right.
Everybody know Harlem real right only.
Just so you know, AKA Boogaloo. You know what I mean? This Harlem's finest. This how they do it. I just want to introduce you. You know what I mean?
Definitely is a pleasure.
You know, to the big OG.
Thank you, bro. Coming through, bro. Homie, to meet a big homie. Homie, and they, you know, your loved ones speak so highly of you out here, homie. All of these blocks, homie, they all speak highly of you, homie. They all speak highly, and so they was like, nigga, you gotta go around there and meet, you know what I'm saying, the big homie real quick, homie. You need to go around there and touch bases and tap in.
This is one of the other guys that I looked up to growing up. You know
Right, right.
This is my big brother. You know what I'm
Right. They've been speaking on you since I touched down. They've been speaking your name, ringing bells.
Just so you know, you ain't gotta be there to get yours.
I'm like, damn, homie, this nigga the nigga then, homie. I'm like, damn.
Bro, not for nothing, bro. You know, it took a long time for me to change my attitude to be able to have people approach me, because for years I've been really unapproachable, you know what I'm saying? Even now, so more days that I'm really kind of active in social media, sometimes people, I don't be really knowing if a person, if it's love or if it's a slug, you understand what I'm saying? So sometimes people look at me and I don't know what type of look it is, and I be having to catch myself on some old, nah, Lou, it ain't that. Maybe they just saw you on one of your interviews and they just staring at you in a certain type of way.
Right.
So it kind of like is kind of like mixed feelings with this shit. You know what I'm saying? When you coming from the street and shit, you know, I don't know how to really embrace this shit. I try to,
Right.
but I really don't know how to. You know what I'm saying?
You know, there ain't no manual, wasn't no manual given to us from the street. We just know the code that we abide by. You know, it ain't a hand manual because at the end of the day, every individual is different. And so how we all approach it, you know, how we do, you know, anything is how we gonna do everything. And I can respect that, how you saying that, because that's what it is, homie. You came from the soil with it. So you've seen so much shit in your lifetime, homie, that it's just embedded into you, your cognitive behavior. So it's just that way. Like, you know, when I first came home, I had an issue with my hands being balled up all the time because in there, I always knew to protect myself. So I didn't know if the homies was gonna stab me up or knock me out.
Right, so you
So
know exactly
I
what I'm
already
talking
know
about.
how
That's a
you
good
feel
example.
because I was always
10 years
on
in
tense.
Longport.
I was so tense,
Right.
you know, because I didn't know what was moving. The niggas like, nigga, come in the yard. Like, come in the yard?
And they just tell you to come
In the yard, like, nigga, yeah, I don't know. These niggas, same niggas smile,
to
nigga.
cuss,
When
yeah.
they smiling, homie, you know, I don't know if, you know, when a person showing you a smile, a lot of times when they showing you their fangs.
That's right.
Yeah.
They showing you their fangs,
Yeah.
homie.
They come in smiles too, man.
Yeah,
Not
they
all
showing you
screw
they
faces
fangs.
and shit. Not all killers you could detect, you know?
Exactamundo. Most happiest, go luckiest people that I know in my lifetime of being in the streets is the ones, homie, that knock your head off with no remorse, homie.
Right. Well, you know, when I was a kid, I didn't understand what my mom was saying to me, but she had realized that I was in the street. So she called me in her room one day. She said, because back when I was coming up, it wasn't no hustler, it was a scrambler. That's what you was called when you sold drugs when I was a kid, a scrambler.
You know?
So my mom was like, so you a scrambler now? So I looked at her because I knew my mom, she could say something to you and you would never know when she gonna hit you because she was left-handed. So
going to believe
hesitated on
this.
answering her, but I was
Cassie
looking at her hands when
testified
she
in
asked me
court
the question.
that D-Rock was one of Diddy's security people. Now, here's the thing. They showed a picture of D-Rock on the screen, okay? Now, don't know I was in the trial. This is all coverage, but I believe that there was a bombshell that was just dropped off about that. What is the actual bombshell? Y'all, D-Rock was Biggie's best friend. As a matter of fact, people that are conspiracy theorists say that Biggie would have never gone out if D-Rock hadn't pushed the issue. There's a little beef behind that. However, if this is the same D-Rock and the picture looks like the same D-Rock based upon information and belief, it actually looks like that Cassie had testified that Diddy and D-Rock literally scooted up and rolled out on Suge Knight, and they looked like they was going to try to murk that man. They said they were dressed in all black. They said that they had the little collars on. They said they probably had some dark Air Force One energy on there too, right? Liberia Rose, hey, what's up, Liberia? How are you doing? But in any case, this is what Cassie testified. I have my notes. I'm going to pull them out. You know we are right at 500 Pearl Street. Doing the thing. Here's the fit. Yes, I'm on, y'all can't see it, but I'm on my legal eagle. Whatnot, trying to keep it professional. But y'all, who is D-Rock, you guys might add, all right? Let's get into this. D-Rock, whose real name is Damian Butler, that is Diddy's security, was a close friend and confidant of the notorious B.I.G., Christopher Wallace. Their friendship began in their childhood home in Brooklyn and evolved over time. D-Rock is known for taking a bang charge on Biggie's behalf, which led him to serving time in prison. After his release, D-Rock became Biggie's personal assistant and managed his career until his passing. Again, there's a little controversy. We're not saying that hey, Tracy Andrews, thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate you. We're not saying that D-Rock did anything, but I do know that if you go on Twitter, oh my God, wait. I almost forgot to leave with the biggest thing. I'm going to do a story about this later. Do you know that Cassie testified that during the freak-offs, Diddy, you can't tell me this ain't childhood trauma. I'm looking at Janice Combs like, what happened in that house? Listen to what Diddy was into. He would demand that the escort either eject on Cassie's stomach or inside her tunnel of love. And then Diddy would demand that Cassie go into the room next door And when Cassie went into the room next door, he would make Cassie rub that juice, right? He would make Cassie going to believe this. Cassie testified in court that D-Rock was one of Diddy's security people. Now, here's the thing. They showed a picture of D-Rock on the screen, okay? Now, y'all know I was in the trial. This is all coverage, but I believe that there was a bombshell that was just dropped off about that. What is the actual bombshell? Y'all, D-Rock was Biggie's best friend. As a matter of fact, people that are conspiracy theorists say that Biggie would have never gone out if D-Rock hadn't pushed the issue. There's a little beef behind that. However, if this is the same D-Rock and the picture looks like the same D-Rock based upon information and belief, it actually looks like that Cassie testified that Diddy and D-Rock literally scooted up and rolled out on Suge Knight, and they looked like they was gonna try to murk that man. They said they were dressed in all black. They said that they had the little collars on. They said they probably had some dark Air Force One energy on there too, right? Liberia Rose, hey, what's up, Liberia? How are you doing? But in any case, this is what Cassie testified. I have my notes. I'm gonna pull them out. You know we are right at 500 Pearl Street. Doing the thing. Here's the fit. Yes, I'm on. Y'all can't see it, but I'm on my legal eagle. Whatnot. Trying to keep it professional.
He got me eating Indian food.
Where are you from?
Originally Chicago.
No. Like, where are your parents from?
Chicago.
What about after them?
Chicago.
Oh, so you're just from Chicago?
Yeah, I'm an African American. He got me eating Indian food.
Where are you from?
Originally Chicago.
No. Like,
Remember that shit you said? Yeah. About my bro, he dead? Yeah. You want chest ahead, but I want face instead. Yeah. That's another spot news. Headshots. All them killers shoot for free, ain't gotta pay them nothing. It's to the point I wink my eye, I ain't gotta tell them nothing. Remember that shit you said? Yeah. About my bro, he dead? Yeah. You want chest ahead, but I want face instead. Yeah. That's another spot news. Headshots.
What's up, everybody? I'm Doggy Diamonds. You're now watching Doggy Diamonds TV. Shout out to everybody coming from TikTok, X, Facebook, and Instagram. If you're not following me on any of those platforms, the links are right below in the description box. So this is from Hot97.com. Exhibit's label wanted an $11 million buyout payment from Dr. Dre. I always wonder why Dr. Dre didn't have Exhibit on Aftermath. This is why. I forgot about Exhibit being on Loud Records. So it reads, Exhibit recently revealed how his former label had demanded an $11 million buyout from Dr. Dre so he could join Aftermath Records. Woo, $11 million. Woo. Speaking with Red Bull, Exhibit claimed that Steve Rifkin, the former CEO of Loud Records, wanted a large sum of money for his release from the label. He asked for an $11 million buyout, claimed Exhibit. He just didn't want to let me go. Because of the massive price tag, the deal fell through. Although Dre didn't sign him to Aftermath, he served as an executive producer on 2 of Exhibit's albums. He told me no matter what he was doing or where I landed, he was going to make sure he was there for me, Exhibit recalled, talking about Dr. Dre. As the interview continued, Exhibit spoke about his influential show, Pimp My Ride. Nobody knew Pimp My Ride was gonna be Pimp My Ride until that shit came out, he said. I had soccer moms coming up and pinching my cheeks and telling me how much they love me. It turned me into a global brand. And I was in people's homes. I was in people's lives. People still come up to me to this day and tell me I was a big part of their childhood. Previously, he shared why he left the popular MTV show, detailing that his contract demands were not being met. You really want to know the truth about why Pimp My Ride only lasted 6 seasons? Only 6 seasons. Some people didn't want their childhood ruined, he said. It ended because my contract was up and I didn't want to renew it. I was on my way out at the door of 20th Century Fox after filming the last episode, and it was like, yo, all good things must come to an end. I'm good. I'm very good. I'm shaking hands and I'm like, okay, guys, contract's up. I don't want to renew. I'm out. The West Coast legend also released his news record, Kingmaker. That was May 16th. Hey, I gotta go check that out. That's on streaming platforms, I guess. I gotta go check that out. I like Exhibit. So we'll get into Pimp My Ride in a minute, which I remember that show like yesterday. But $11 million? So I'm wondering if they upped the price for Exhibit because he was on Pimp My Ride. Was Steve Rifkin, you know, this is alleged because this is what Exhibit is saying, but this is not saying it's the truth. Did he up the price for Exhibit because he was on Pimp My Ride and, you know, it was like using that for promo because he was more visible? Because I don't ever remember Exhibit selling a bunch of records, and that's kind of foul because if you got the top producer in the world wanting to work with your artist, why won't you do a venture deal with him to let him go? This is Loud Records. Because I remember, oh, I used to love that record. What you see is what you get now. Remember that video? Of course, I love Paparazzi. Of course, I love Foundation. Exhibit has some joints on Loud Records, I can't front. But what he did with Dr. Dre is what made him more of a household name. Even though I like the Alcoholics affiliation, I love What You See Is What You Get Now. But I used to love Paparazzi. I love Paparazzi. Damn. You gonna make me go back and add that. That ain't in my gym playlist? Oh no, I gotta add that. Even Foundation, produced by DJ Muggs. Even Eyes May Shine, Your Teeth May Grit. That was with Mobb Deep. That shit was dope too. Exhibit had some joints on Loud Records, but he was more of a dope West Coast underground dude. Dr. Dre took him musically and put him on them big records like Next Episode and he took Exhibit to another level musically. But do you think that Loud Records was using the leverage from Pimp My Ride and was like, oh, we not letting him go? But because $11 million is a heavy price tag. And how could somebody ask for $11 million and you might not be worth $11 million? Like, I would think if somebody wants to buy your contract and you say, give me $11 million, that means you're $11 million in the hole. Somebody got to get Steve Rifkin on the line and ask him this, because these are these good questions that we need to know when it comes to hip hop culture and hip hop history. Like, why didn't you let this artist go here? Because if you're not going to take them and make them a mega superstar, why not let them go? But that's music industry, 10,080. What did Q-Tip say? 4,080? 4,018? You know what he said. I don't remember what he said. But Aftermath on it. Oh, you know what I used to love? Exhibit. Get Your Walk On. You ain't like Get Your Walk On? Even the joint that Rockwilder did. Oh no. That's for sure. Damn, will the real Exhibit please stand up? I like that record too. But I used to love Get Your Walk On. I love that. I could drink a whole Fantasy Fifth. I fucked that up a little bit, but I just love hip hop, man. So forgive me when I get a little animated and get a little hype when I talk about the culture, because it's just hip hop. It's just dope. But Exhibit he still got the tour with them though. But he would have probably. I wonder what he would have been like on Aftermath, because he basically was on Aftermath, but just not. But damn, Dr. Dre, that mean he looked out for Steve Rifkin and them. Was he still on? He had to still be on Loud because he wouldn't buy him out. $11 million is a lot of money though. $11 million? When at that time people like 50 Cent was getting $1 million deals and had all this momentum. In respect to Exhibit, but he wasn't worth no $11 million. I can't really think of any artist at that particular time that would have been worth $11 million. So Loud was just tripping. But Loud Records did, they did house, Wu-Tang, Mobb Deep, Big Pun, Dead Prez, Cellar Dwellers, The Sleepers, Raekwon. They had Yvette Michelle, I believe. They had was Sadat X over there too? I could have sworn Sadat X was over there. I think Sadat X was there too. I can't remember the whole Loud Records roster. But I think Sadat X was there. Anyway, we sign these deals in these situations with people, and then people don't want to let them go. So that's why I should get a lot of credit for having people sign to me and I let them out the deal. If you know, you know. I'm Doggy Diamonds. Make sure you subscribe. I appreciate y'all if y'all subscribe.